Before we move on and start looking at some more advanced things such as HTTPS and caching, I want to take a few minutes and check over all of our pages and tidy up a few loose ends. So as we've already spent a fair bit of time on the home page, I think we're looking quite good here. So let's move over to the blog page. And to start with, I think the sidebar could do with updating. So let's do that straight away by going to the edit mode and opening the page inspector, and then going to the sidebar tab. Straight away we're going to remove the image because that's being duplicated on the page a few times. And what I think we could do in the sidebar here is add a newsletter sign up section. So let's start by adding a title and then some text. And what I'm going to do is link this text off to the newsletter sign up page. And add a descriptive title. And set the link. So if we preview that, we can now see we've got a nice newsletter sign up section asking them to go off and sign up for our newsletter. So other than that, I think this page is looking pretty good. We could perhaps add a newsletter sign up button into the extra content area here. Let's do that now quickly. So we go to the header tab and the body one here. And I'll just add the button for us quickly here. So here you can see I've just added a button that links off to the newsletter page that says sign up for coffee tips and tricks. Okay, so I think the blog page is looking a little bit nicer now. So let's move on to the coffee page. And the banner area is looking perfectly good. I think we could improve this sidebar though. So let's go to edit mode. And we're using stacks for this page, so I'll just drop a couple of stacks in. First we'll add a header, and then we'll add some text. And we'll make sure this is an H3, yep. And what I'm thinking we can do here is link off to our reviews page and ask people to write a review for us or leave a review on one of the review sites that we're going to look at in just a second. So let's have a heading of enjoying our coffee, and then we'd have some text. I'll write something out here quickly. So here we're saying if you're enjoying our coffee, we'd love if you could write a review about us on Tripadvisor. And before we actually link off that text, let's hop over to Safari. And here you can see I've got the Mr. Wolf Tripadvisor website open. Now Mr. Wolf is a popular coffee shop in Brighton. They've got a few reviews. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because if you remember in the last episode about link building, getting people to write reviews for you on sites like Tripadvisor and the other big review and holiday sites is going to help your business be found, and it's also going to help you with some more inbound links. So it's especially good if you can get popular on, for example, Tripadvisor, and they might list you as a recommended place to go to, or they'll list you in one of their popular list results, or they'll list you high up on their search results when people are searching for things like coffee shops in Brighton. So what we'll do is we'll just copy the link for Mr. Wolf, and we'll link our text here off to that page. So we'll say write a review, and we'll add a link, and we'll say URL, paste that in, and we'll write a title and set the link. And if we go and preview, there we can see we've added our new enjoying our coffee, and then if you're enjoying us, please write a review. So this is just pushing the user to write a review about us on those popular sites, and hopefully that will start to get you a few more inbound links to your site. And as I say, hopefully if you get a lot of reviews on Tripadvisor, you'll start bubbling up towards the top of their search results. And also Tripadvisor does very well in search engine results. So when someone searches for coffee shops in Brighton, often Tripadvisor or a similar site will come up very high on those results with their list of coffee shops. And if you can be at the top of the Tripadvisor list, then you're likely to get more inbound links as well. So that's one way to get your site linked to from the top results inside of search engines. Okay, other than that, I think the coffee page is looking good. Let's have a look at the cafe page. First up here, I can see that this text is incorrect. That should be larger, and maybe we'll want a button on there as well. So let's go to edit, and really this should be some HTML, so I'll add that quickly. And we want a paragraph tag, and I'm just going to copy this dummy text here and remove that, paste that into the paragraph tag. If you're wondering what this lead class is, this is a Bootstrap specific class just to make the text a little bit larger. Depending on the theme you're using, you might add that slightly differently. Anyway, that is looking a little bit nicer. We could maybe add a button there. I think we'll leave that for now though. We do need to update the sidebar here though, so let's do that. And what we could do is add a newsletter sign up one on this page. So let's write that now. I'm using newsletter sign up. You could use something more creative like interested in learning about coffee or learn from the experts, something like that. I'm just going simple, saying newsletter sign up. And I'm just going to go and copy the text from the blog page that we used. So I'm going to copy that, go back to the cafe page and add that into here. Okay, and what we could do is also add a reviews sidebar heading as well if we wanted to. So what I'll do is copy over the sidebar text we just added on the coffee page into here. And what we'll need to do is add some text and a heading. And then we can paste that in here. Whoops, that's for the heading. And I'll go back and copy the text as well. So we'll give that a preview, make sure we're looking good. And yeah, now we've got a nice newsletter sign up and an enjoying our coffee reviews heading here. So that's looking a little bit nicer as well. What we could do on this photo gallery is add a caption for each photo. So if we go to edit, I'll do that again quickly now. Okay, so I've added those captions. If we go to preview and have a look, here you can see I've added a caption about each photo. Now this isn't necessarily a really important part of SEO. This isn't going to make your site appear higher inside of Google search results. However, it's important to focus on all the small details as well, because it builds up a picture not only for the user but for search engine bots that this site is all about coffee and it's a cafe, and all these little bits of text allow the search engine bots to really build up a good picture of what your website or your business is all about. So as I say here, this little caption isn't going to do much, but it provides some useful information to users and search engine bots. So we're saying all of our coffee is brewed to order, so you always get a fresh cup. So people know if they come, they're going to get a nice fresh cup of coffee, but search engine bots are also going to pick up that we're talking about coffee and brewing and fresh cups of coffee. All these little bits of copy throughout your site is only going to help your search engine ranking. So focus on them with the small bits as well. Anyway, let's move on because I think that will just about do for this page. We're looking quite good. Let's have a look at the reviews page. So here we need to add the extra content for the banner area. So let's go to edit and add the extra content stack. And we'll need a header and some HTML. And here we'll say unbelievable coffee reviews. And we'll make sure that's an H2. And then inside of the HTML, I'm going to go and copy what we've got on the home page, just to save some time, and pop that in. So let's preview that, make sure we're looking good. Yeah, we've got our header in there and some supporting text and a button. And what I want to do with this button is again link off to the Tripadvisor page to try and encourage people to leave a review for us on Tripadvisor. So let's go to edit and update this text. So we'll go back to Safari and copy that link again and paste it in here, and update the button text as well to say review us on Tripadvisor. So again, preview that. So that's quite a nice heading really, because there's a nice call to action button there that's going to send them off, and hopefully they'll leave us a nice review, and that, as I say, will help us come up to the top of the Tripadvisor search results. So next up, we need to update this sidebar here as well. So let's go to edit, and we will do a newsletter sign up again. And I'm going to go back and copy that text from the cafe page and paste that in here. Okay, and then next up, right now I've got these dummy reviews. They're just temporary ones for show. They're just temporary ones that I added. But what we could do is, if we've got some customer reviews on Tripadvisor, for example, we could actually quote one of those and put them in here. So let's do that now. Let's go down and find a nice review for this coffee shop here. So this one here looks good. Amazing coffee. So let's copy over the text there and we'll paste it in. So this is one of the best places to get coffee in the city. They make a mean flat white and they don't take ages to make it. Nice pastries as well. Dogs are welcome. Lovely review. So let's see who that was by. That's from this user here. So we can copy their username and paste that in. And again, what we could do is link to this review. So if we close that out, if they have a direct link for this review, you could copy that, or you could just send them off to the Tripadvisor review page as well. It's not that important. Just the main point is that you link off to the source of that quote. So we'll add a link here if we can. Like so, and we'll preview that. So there we've got a real review that's linking off to the source of that review as well. And obviously you'll want to update the avatars and do the same for the other reviews on your page. When one of your other reviews might be from one of the listing sites that we looked at before. So for example, I think it was welovebrighton.com in the previous video. If they've written a blog post reviewing your cafe, you could quote some of that text and link off to that page, stuff like that. Just try and accumulate a few reviews from different listing sites or review sites on the web and paste those into your reviews page and link off to them. That's really important. Link to the source of where these reviews are coming from. Okay, so that's looking a lot better on the reviews page as well. Let's just check the newsletter sign up. So here again we need to add the extra content area for the banner here. So I'm going to copy what we've got on the blog page. We go to the head area here and go back and paste that into here, and we'll see it update. So there. So all we need to do is update that heading. So let's call this weekly coffee tips and tricks, and then we'll update the text as well. So we'll say we send out a weekly newsletter with tips, tricks and interesting links about coffee. And if we preview that, I think we should be about good. Yep, that's fine for the banner area there. And then for the sign up form, as I mentioned previously, we're not going to go through and actually implement a sign up process on our website. You can use Campaign Monitor or MailChimp and they give you the code and all of the sign up process is handled for you. The point I wanted to get across with this page is that it's very valuable to build up a newsletter list that you can email out your blog articles or interesting content that you have on your site to people that are interested in it. And within that email you should be encouraging your subscribers to share your content on Facebook, on Twitter, on Google+, or even sharing it with their friends and family via email, or perhaps they might even blog about that content for you. And the reason why you want to do that, again, it's because it will increase the amount of inbound links that you get into your site. Okay, so let's just update our sidebar here because we've got a missing image and some not very useful text. So we'll open up the page inspector, go to the sidebar tab, and what we'll do is go to edit, and again I think I'll just copy the off of the cafe page. We can copy the reviews text. So let's copy this bit here, go back to the newsletter and paste it in, and for the sidebar title we will add enjoying our coffee. So again, this is just a little prompt to try and get them to leave us a review on Tripadvisor. You could add another heading here, perhaps with a list of links that you've previously sent out on your newsletter, just to give them a flavour of the type of content they're getting. But you get the idea here in the sidebar. Just add some nice supporting text for the main content area. Okay, so I think all the pages on our site are looking pretty good now. We've got the banner area sorted for every page. We've updated the main content and the sidebar, and the footer is a lot more useful as well. So before we move on to anything else, let's do a quick health check on our site and see what RapidWeaver is suggesting that we improve. So first off, we should be improving the banner accessibility. So we haven't added the alt text in the settings area, so let's fix that now. So here we can see that we need to add a banner alt, which we haven't done. So as I've said in the previous lessons, use a few keywords and describe the content within that image. So I'll just say unbelievable coffee shop in Brighton. Next, let's have a look at what we needed to do here. Add fav icons and web clip icons. I haven't got either of those prepared for this series, but as RapidWeaver recommends, you can add them in here. Pretty simple to do, not that important with regards to SEO, but it will make your website feel a little bit more professional, and that's always a good thing. So next up, we need to improve the logo accessibility. So we haven't added any alt text for our site logo. So here we will just put unbelievable coffee shop logo. So it describes what we've got here, and it gets a couple of keywords in there as well. We could say unbelievable coffee shop in Brighton logo, and that will get us the Brighton keyword in there as well. So that's that one done. Let's do a refresh. So we'll ignore the fav icon and web clip warning. Let's go to the blog. We haven't added a description meta tag, so we'll fix that up now. And let me just add a quick description now. So I've added the experts from Unbelievable Coffee share their best tips, tricks and techniques to help you brew amazing coffee at home. Now what we could do is actually say coffee shop in Brighton, just to get a couple more keywords in there. So that's the description for the blog done. Let's have a look at the next one. We haven't added a browser title for the direct trade coffee dictionary or coffee dictionary pages. Now those are the sub pages under the coffee here. And as I said before, we're not really focusing on the content of those pages. So I'm actually going to leave those for now. Obviously you should do that for your pages, but those were just template pages just to give you an idea of how you can structure your site in a nice SEO friendly way. So obviously you should add a browser title for those pages, but let's move on to the reviews page. We haven't added a description meta tag, so let's fix that as well. And again, I'll quickly write out a description. So I've just added reviews for Unbelievable Coffee Shop in Brighton. Read what our customers think about our delicious coffee. So pretty straightforward. Let's move on to the next one, and it's for the newsletter page. We haven't added a description meta tag there either, so let's do that. Again, I'll write a quick description, and I've just put sign up for our weekly newsletter to get tips, tricks and interesting links about coffee. So again, the content isn't that important here. The main thing is that what we're doing is going through all of our pages and ensuring all of these little details are up to date. They are using some keywords and they're describing the content and all of these things that we've learned throughout the series already. We're just going through here and just tidying up everything and making sure our site is really tip top so that we can help ourselves get the best results possible within search engine results. So let's go back to health check and just do a quick refresh. So we only have 3 items remaining, and as we mentioned, those are 3 that we're not going to look at fixing in this series. So that fixes up quite a few issues. If you haven't used the health check feature in RapidWeaver 7 very much, I really encourage you to do so, because it will help you find all of these little details that you might have forgotten about. And as I say, if we hadn't used that, I probably would have forgotten to do the description meta tags and add the alt text for the logo and the banner and stuff like that. So it's a really handy little feature, especially with regards to SEO. Okay, so finally I just want to have a quick check over the general settings, make sure we're looking all okay in the titles and the footer text and stuff like this. I think what we could do is perhaps say Unbelievable Coffee Shop in Brighton. That'll give us a couple more keywords there in the footer. Title is perfectly fine. Email and web address. Yeah, let's just check the advanced settings. I want to make sure we're on tidy website links. Yeah. What tidy website links does is remove the index.html or index.php from the links to your pages. So as it says here, rather than having /blog/index.html, it would just be /blog. Now that is the default setting for RapidWeaver 7, but it's worth noting that if you've moved over to RapidWeaver 7 and you didn't have this checked previously, I would encourage you to check that there, just because it will make your URLs a little bit shorter and a little bit cleaner. And as I've already mentioned in this series, that will help you with clean and descriptive URLs. So that is looking all good. I don't think we need to check anything else there. No, what we'll do is publish these changes up to the live site and make sure we're looking good. Or actually, just before we do that, let's update the sidebar for the homepage here, because I've just noticed that's not looking too good, and we could be asking for some reviews or sending them to our newsletter sign up. So let's go to edit and copy over some of the text from another page. So for example, let's copy over the review text. So we'll drop in a text stack and a heading stack. And I'll just paste that text into here. And update the title. Say review our coffee. And then what we'll do also is add a newsletter sign up section as well. So let's go and copy this text here, and on the home page paste that in here, and in the header we'll just say coffee tips and tricks. So let's go and preview that, and we'll need a little bit of padding on the bottom there, so let's add that. So I'll actually do a margin 20 pixels, go and preview. And yeah, spaced a little bit nicer. So again, all I'm doing here is adding a little bit of supporting text and linking off to some of our other pages, or giving the user a couple more pages that they might be interested in. So that sidebar is looking a lot nicer now. So let's go and publish these up to the live server. And let's visit those in the browser, make sure we're looking good. Yeah. Let's do a refresh. I think we're cached there. Yep, now we've got the updated sidebar. And we'll just check the reviews page, for example. Yeah, we've got our new reviews in there and the sidebar's updated. So yeah, that's looking all good. Okay, so as I said at the beginning of the video, in the next few videos we're going to start focusing on more advanced things such as adding HTTPS and caching to our site, and also looking at integrating some social features such as Twitter cards and Open Graph and things like that. So stay tuned for those lessons, and I'll see you again soon.